Hi, hello, everybody. I hope you're having the best day of your life. Today, I'm basically going to walk you through the clients. I'm going to walk you through essentially a new kind of tracker that I have for you, right? Something new, something that I want to kind of give to everybody, kind of get better at actually tracking our progress, to get more consistent, right? We know consistency is key. Well, how do we do that? And how do we know, right? I think a lot of the times, a lot of people fall into the trap of, well, I feel like I'm doing everything right, but I'm just not losing weight. Well, how do you know you're doing everything right? Have you tracked? Do you know? Like, how do you know? If you feel like you're doing everything right and still not losing weight, spoiler alert, you're not doing everything right. There's no way around that. That you can't get away from that. Otherwise, you'd be losing weight, right? So, how do we know? How do we figure out if we're actually doing everything right? Well, we have to be consistent. And we always talk about, we always talk about the 80-20 rule of consistency. If you're 80% consistent, you'll be fine. If you can do better, amazing. If you end up getting fall below that, though, you're making it substantially harder on yourself. And if you're only using our feelings to dictate whether or not we're actually doing things correctly, you're leaving way too much room for error, and then you're just going to get frustrated, like keep spinning your wheels, and you're not going to get anywhere. And you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to think that like there's something wrong with you, that you're broken somehow. In reality, no, there are just variables that aren't being considered. There are some gaps in our knowledge and our execution of the plan, so we need to find out where that is. The next thing, but another part of this is talking about goals, right? If we have our first conversation, what's the first question I ask you? Who do you want to be? Who's the kind of person that you want to be, and how does that person live their life? Well, now we're going to actually write it down. We're actually going to get super crystal clear on what that is. And then we can look back at our goals. We can look back at our daily actions, and we can actually reflect, hey, am I actually doing the things necessary to create the life I want for myself? Or do I just like the idea of getting this thing, but I have zero interest in actually committing to the actions that will give me that, right? A lot of the times people like to claim that they like the idea of being healthy, like the idea of losing weight, but they don't like the idea of changing literally anything about their life, right? Some people are just born that way, and you know what? A lot of it just comes down up here. It's false beliefs that we've been taught. It's just things that we don't accept. Most people don't want to accept that they're bad at things. Most people don't want to accept that that they need help. Most people don't want to accept that they're good enough. Most people don't want to accept that this is what needs to be done. There's a lot of people that just refuse to accept truth, because it doesn't align with their internal beliefs. And that's the problem. And so we're going to kind of get crystal clear today. We're going to fill this out, and I inputted my own bits so that you can kind of see how I'm kind of thinking about this. So let's get my ugly mug out of the way. Let's get it up here. Please don't make fun of the amount of tabs I have open. I have so many things that I'm working on. Okay, so first we need to reflect, right? Like what has the past looked like, and what went well, what went wrong, right? So the biggest wins the past 6 months for myself. This is actually a year, right? But it's still reflecting, and it's still kind of keeping this in mind, right? So I lost 30 pounds for my wedding last June. Not 6 months, more like 12 months. But hey, it's still the same concept. And this is kind of where I'm going with this. But the thing is that in the past 6 months, I've still managed to keep it off. And that's a big thing. That's the hard part, right? We can all agree that weight loss is something that most people can do pretty well. However, it's keeping it off, it's sustaining it that's hard. I managed to keep it off. So that's a huge win. For fitness, like my deadlift and squat are both above 500 pounds. And that feels really good. I've always prided myself on how strong I am. And that's been a lot of fun. And my sleep has drastically improved. We'll get more on that later. What are the biggest lessons? So there's no failure. Failure only happens when you quit, right? And so by every definition of the word, as long as you don't quit, you have not failed. So you're either making mistakes and turning those into lessons, learning from them, right? Or you're winning. Those are the only two things. There are wins and there are lessons. Lessons build to future wins, right? So what are the biggest lessons of the past 6 months? Well, I've realized that I can't wing it. If I don't have a plan, there's a really good chance that I'm going to fall off, and I have to fight to get back tomorrow. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to always be playing catch up, right? So if I don't have a plan, I know I'm going to keep playing catch up. Number two is getting the foods that I struggle with out of the house does not equal control. I know that's the first step for a lot of people is like, hey, if you have a hard time with nighttime cravings, if you have a hard time with snack food, just get the snack food out of the house. There you go. You've now set your environment up to more reflect the life you want. And that's important because if your environment, if your home environment isn't set up for success, your chances of success kind of plummet, right? So how can we set up our environment? Get the food out of the house. However, that's only step one, because if I go to a public event, if I go to a social event with friends, family, whatever it is, and those foods are still on the table, then I'm still going to struggle on those days. So those foods, I still don't have, so those foods still have control over me. It's important that I know that. It's important that I reflect and understand my pitfalls, understand the things that set me off. Right, and understand my weaknesses, the parts that I struggle with, because I am human. Just because I do this for a living doesn't mean I don't struggle. Right, there are certain things that I still struggle with. This is one of them. If I get like crunchy, salty foods are in the house, they're going to be in my mouth before I even register that what I'm doing. So getting in the house is step one. However, I still need to learn control around those foods, because of the fact that if I go to a social event and I find myself just snacking on those, which I do, that shows that that food still has control over me. And the third lesson I learned is that this is kind of should be a no brainer. But if my sleep is compromised, even in the slightest, my what I call my inner bitch voice really takes the reins. And what is that? You're basically my inner bitch voice is the thing that convinces me that the bad decision is somehow the good decision. That choosing the thing that is in clear violation of the goal that I have is somehow the better idea, right? This happens all the time when the scale bumps up a pound and suddenly you just throw it all out the window and you cave and you're just going to start again on Monday. That's my inner bitch voice saying, you know what would be a really good idea right now? Just go on a binge fest all weekend, right? Like let's not take ourselves seriously. Let's not treat our bodies with respect. Let's go and let's go have the ice cream. You know you want it, go have it. Or like skip, you know what, you're tired today, skip the gym, it's okay. That's my inner bitch voice. That's the thing that's really stopping me. That's the thing. I know that even when I'm tired, going to the gym is still the better decision. I know that even though I'm stressed and frustrated that I'm not seeing results, I know that going to the tub of ice cream and downing it all that's not going to solve the problem, right? I know that. And that's the inner bitch voice that always wants you to stay the same, that wants you to keep doing the same thing you've always done, because it's what you've always done. It's familiar, it's comfortable, it's safe. Even if I don't want it, my mind is not on my side during this journey, and I know that. Cool. Continuing the reflection, scroll down, do more of this in the next 6 months. I want to surround myself more with people who give me energy rather than people that suck the energy out of my life, right? I want to surround myself with people who I like to spend time with. Like a lot of the times we spend time with people that we don't want to because we feel obligated because, oh, they're my friend. But in reality, a good friend gives you energy. A good friend supports you and actually aims to help you. And it's just the kind of person, right? Who do you want to associate yourself with? Do I want to associate with people who whine and bitch and complain and moan, and then like keep falling under the same excuses, keep rationalizing shitty decisions? Like, do I want to surround myself with people like that? Like, I only get one shot at this life. One. Am I going to waste it spending with time with people that I don't want to spend time with? No. I got one shot, and the people that matter most to me in my life, they're the ones I want to spend time with. And the people that give me energy, those are the people I want to spend time with. Number two is I want to set better boundaries so I can actually show up for the people that really matter, my family, and soon to be child, right? Like these are the people that matter most to me. These are the people who I want to show up the best for. One of the questions I talk about with a lot of my clients, probably you as well. If you're a new client, we probably haven't had this conversation yet. But a lot of people are people pleasers. They want to give, and they never actually, do anything for themselves, or they feel selfish if they take time to work on themselves, right? Put themselves first. But in reality, you cannot show up your best for other people if you yourself are not at your best. I'm very much a person where I believe people first. Like my entire business, my entire career is based on helping other people. So people first. But I have to remember that I am also a person and I can't show up my best for my family. I can't show up my best for my clients if I'm not at my best. So I need to get better at setting boundaries so I can show up for those people and truly give my all to these people. And I just want to do more things that excite me. I think too many people just get stuck in this boring loop of living each day on repeat and just never actually going out of the norm and doing things that really excite them. But again, I got one shot of this life. I want to make sure that I'm living it to the fullest. And then do less of these in the next 6 months. I want to, again, listening to that inner bitch voice. Again, the more tired I am, the louder that is. So by helping correct my sleep, I'm now that voice is now a lot quieter. It's not as charismatic. It's not as convincing as it used to be, which is awesome. So by listening to it less, I just know I'm going to come out on top. Again, rationalizing shitty choices. The human brain is amazing at rationalizing shitty choices to convince you that the clearly bad idea is the better idea, the better path to go down. We have this all the time. I'm not infallible to this. I know that this is happening. And I know that a lot of other people struggle with this too, because a lot of people will know that the decision they're making is wrong, but they're still going to somehow convince themselves that it's the better choice to make. That's the inner bitch voice. That's your brain rationalizing bad behavior, and then you thinking it's okay. Right. And so then the next, less excuses, right? If I create the life I want for myself, if I, again, the rationalizations, coming up with excuses, if I want to create this life, if I want to live this version of me, if I want to rise to my highest self, I know that's going to create change. I need to change aspects about myself, which means that I need to go from who I am now to become the person I want to be. Things need to change. And again, my brain's always going to try and tell me to go backwards towards what I've always done, which has kept me in a problem, in a spot that I don't want to be. So I need to recognize that my brain is trying to rationalize the shitty choices, recognize that I'm coming up with excuses, and then just doing it anyway. And then worrying about other people's opinion. There are two people whose opinion mattered to me in my life. It is my wife and my unborn child. When my unborn child can start forming their own opinions, it is those two people. They're the only ones whose opinion that I care about, and myself. Right. So it's time to prove it. Prove it. Like if somebody's like, it's like, oh, I don't care what other people think. Well, it's like, yeah, then why don't you want to wear that shirt out in public? It's your favorite shirt. Why don't you want to wear it out in public? Oh, because of what other people will think. Right. Your actions and your values are not lining up. It's time to like prove with action, right? Actions speak louder than words. I can say that I value no one's opinion other than my own and my wife, but if I start acting out of alignment with that, well, then it turns out I'm just bullshitting myself. I'm lying to myself, and I need to recognize that's what that is. And then let's go over to goals now. So we did reflection, right? We've now reflected and projected what I want certain things to look like. Now let's start setting some goals, right? So fitness goals. I want a 550-pound deadlift. I know I'm close. I've got to be close. I did 515, 515 the other day, and it felt really good. I launched off the floor. So I feel pretty confident that I'm getting pretty close, but that's still something that I want to work towards. I want to be able to do 20 nonstop pull-ups again. When I first lost 80 pounds, there was a video of me on Instagram doing 24 pull-ups, and I stopped because I was bored, not because I got tired. So I want to get back to that. I want to get back to 20. That when I'm able to move my body around with such ease, it feels really good. So I want to get back to that. I want to get to the dragon squat. It's hard to explain, but it's basically doing a full squat on one leg while your other leg wraps around the other one and shoots out forward. It's difficult to explain, but it's really cool. I feel like I have the flexibility to do it. I'm just not strong enough to hold myself in such a deep position, and that's what I want to get to. I want to be able to run a mile and not struggle, not feel out of breath, because I put so much focus onto getting bigger and stronger. Things like running long distances have become very painful. Like I get shin splints, stuff like that. And I don't want that. I get very heavy breathing. I get in my head a lot. Like it's hard. And so if I believe it's hard, it's going to be hard. And so it just kind of like, I want to get good at running long distances again without having to struggle and like huff and puff by the end. I can run a mile nonstop, but it's a struggle right now. And then I want to get to the splits. Like a year ago, I put so much practice in doing the splits, and I got it like straight up to the side, right? Not forward and back. I can do that right now. But going out to the side, I can't do that. So that's something that I want to work towards. Nutrition. I have a book called Eat Smarter, which actually has 200 scientifically backed, like scientific research studies to back why these foods pair together so well, why these meals are such good quality meals, and why they are so good for you. That when these foods are paired together, it really brings out the flavor and the nutrient density, because certain nutrients need to be paired with other nutrients for maximal absorption. A lot of these meals are based off of those pairings, and I really want to do that. So I want to try that once a week. every time food goes in my mouth, I must make sure a fruit or vegetable goes with it. Fiber is really important, but also that's where all the nutrients are, and fruits and vegetables and like meat, salmon, eggs. But so anytime I have a snack, whether it's like I'm going to have some almonds, there's some healthy fats and a little bit of protein, but I'm going to have an apple too to make sure I'm getting fiber in there as well, vitamin A and all that other sort of thing, or like a mandarin orange or an orange or something, a banana, whatever it is. No matter what, I got to make sure a fruit or vegetable goes with it. And then kind of continuing on that, have frozen vegetables on standby so that no matter how hectic my day gets, all I need is 5 minutes in the microwave and I have a serving of vegetables. Super easy, super quick. But that way, no matter how hectic my day gets, I can always make sure I'm getting my vegetables in. Reduce bloating, reduce bloating, and improve digestion. Sometimes, especially if I eat too late, certain combinations of food kind of cause gassing and bloating for me and really uncomfortable. I usually wake up kind of sluggish sometimes when that happens. And it usually takes a few minutes for me to really feel like I'm getting my energy going. Normally, when I eat well or or eat in a particular way, I wake up with a boatload of energy, immediately ready to tackle my day. And I want to make sure I have more of those days, because if I'm waking up feeling sluggish, then I'm literally wasting time. And I'm literally just like dragging myself out of bed and stuff like that. And that's not how I'm supposed to feel. Human beings are meant to be quite energetic. So I want to make sure that I'm doing that. Um, yeah. And then going down to health, I want to put my money where my mouth is and walk more. Ever since I moved to Courtney, I'm no longer walking to the gym. And I used to be able to get like 10 to 12,000 steps every single day before 10 o'clock in the morning, because I would walk to the gym and walk back, and I would walk around at the gym, and then I would get home, eat, take my dog for a walk, right? And then by then I'd be at like 12,000 steps. I'm not doing that anymore because the gym's so much further away. I have to either bike or drive. And so I want to make sure that I'm getting my steps in, because I know how important just walking is for my health. So I want to make sure I'm getting that in. Less caffeine, specifically leading up to when my baby is born, because caffeine is meant to be used to give you a boost, not be your normal, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I don't even talk to me before I have my cup of coffee, or like I feel like a zombie until I have my cup of coffee in the morning. That's a caffeine dependency, and that's not good. That also means that when things happen and you're now exhausted and you need caffeine to give you that boost, you don't get that boost. You just end up kind of feeling like ass because you've built up a tolerance to caffeine, right? So you're still going to feel like shit. Whereas if I cut caffeine and then use it when I need it, i.e., when my daughter is born, I'm going to have a lot less worse quality sleep. I can then start to use caffeine to bring me back up to like supercharged. I can't do that if I'm already used to having caffeine every day. Improve aerobic capacity, right? Aerobic health, heart health, cardiovascular health, really good for like heart disease, cardiac output, stuff like that. Maintain 10 to 12% body fat to prove that being a parent is not is not an excuse to lack your own personal health, right? A lot of parents like to use kids as their excuse for not being healthy. And it's like, cool, like I don't want to have that conversation with my kid where I go, hey, kid, because you exist in my life, I can't be my best self. Because you exist, I can't be the best mom I can be. Because you're in my life, I can't be healthy. Like that's essentially what you're saying, is because I have a lot of people that have been like, Chris, you don't understand. I got 2 kids. It's like, great. Even more of a reason to take this seriously, even more of a reason to make sure this is a priority for you. And that's just it, right? Is making sure that, again, putting your money where your mouth is. If you say you value your health, but then you sacrifice your health every single time just because your kid's around, well, hey, what kind of message are you sending to your kid? And I don't want to send that message. I don't ever want to feel like just because I have children, I can't live my best life. That doesn't make sense. And then personal physique. I don't really have a lot of physique goals. I would like to lose 15 more pounds, but I'm not really glued to that. So, but I just put that there as an example. But this is how deep I want you to get. You like when it comes to reflecting, you need to be self-reflective and self-critical, but not in an emotional way. Not be like, oh, the biggest lessons I learned, I'm a failure. It's like, no, you're not a failure. Why? Because you're filling this out. It literally means you're not a failure. You haven't failed yet. You haven't quit yet, right? When I'm talking about this, like you need to actually take a step back and be like, cool, what did I learn about my health in the past 6 months? And then what went well? Like what happened on the days that I felt with loaded with energy? what happened to make that happen? Like actually start to analyze your own behaviors, because that's going to give you the blueprint of knowing what to do next, right? And what do I want more of the next month? What do I want less of, right? And then setting goals. Now we're going into the magical part. This is the part that's going to be a game changer for you as my client. So the first part is all just understanding you, which is huge. You need to understand you as a person if we want to actually know what kind of person we then want to become. What parts about ourselves do we want to change that keep me stuck, right? What needs to grow? If I don't know what needs to grow, then I don't even know what I need to do to move forward. Now at the bottom here where it says reflection of goals, we're going to go to the monthly goals. So this is going to be huge. So all the way at the top, you're going to see it's January habit tracker, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to scroll down to May because that's where you guys are going to start. May, cool. So nutrition phase, I'm in the burn it phase. I'm going through my own program. I'm in the burn it phase where I'm trying to lose body fat, try to achieve a healthier range of body fat so that when my daughter's born, I'm not starting it from a bad place. I'm starting it from a good place. And then fitness phase, I'm mostly working on aerobic and balance. So aerobic basically being cardiovascular health, and then balanced, right? I'm already plenty strong. By working on my aerobic base, I'm going to all of my fitness qualities are going to start improving, not just my aerobic, right? Because I'm already so strong here that if I'm weak here, by definition, if this comes up, the rest of it goes with it, right? So I'm right now, I'm very much focusing on a more aerobic cardio base. I'm 220 pounds last time I checked. I might be off. I'm not sure. Waist 35, hips 44. And basically what's going to, and then in this section here, habit tracker, right? That was my body weight, measure your biceps, measure your chest, your waist, your hips, your thigh. Remember your waist is that space between your ribs and your hip bone. And then your hips is right around your, just under like where the measuring tape goes, just under your hip bone. Thigh and bicep. For the bicep, I just go here, like shoulder, like where that crease is here, come down there. Now right here is going to be around my bicep, like that. And then for your thigh, I like just going like this. And that way it's consistent every time, right? From your hip bone down to that far, ding, ding. And then now you'll kind of have where you're going your thigh. And I like that just because it's consistent. We have a consistent measuring spot every single time. My goal for this month is to lose 4 to 5 pounds. If I want to lose 15 pounds, let's break it up into smaller, the main goal into smaller goals. What needs to happen? Well, I need to make sure I'm losing 4 to 5, maybe 4 to 5 pounds a month for 3 months. Action steps. I need to make sure that I find high protein snacks for when I'm on the go. When I'm at the gym, when I'm now working at the gym, I'm not going to have as much time to come back and eat. So I need to find high protein snacks to take with me to make sure that I don't miss my protein goal, because that's the hardest part. I need to make sure I'm strength training 3 days a week because muscle burns more fat than fat does. So let's make sure that the weight that I lose is coming from body fat, not muscle. In order to do that, I need to tell my body that holding on to muscle is important. And then action plan tomorrow, today. I know, like, again, I can't wing it. I'm going to take 5 minutes every single night to be like, okay, tomorrow, this is what my schedule looks like. What can I do to make sure that I'm prepared to handle tomorrow's situations, to make sure I still come out the next day on point where I need to be. My next goal is I want to make sure that I want to try and add 10 pounds to my squat. What's the action step I need to take? I need to push the squats hard and make sure that I'm trying to add weight each and every week. Another action step I can take is I need to make sure my sleep is on point so I'm recovering properly. Another action step I could take, make sure I'm eating enough to support recovery, but not body fat, meaning I need to eat more food. I need to eat enough. I need to eat as much food as humanly possible to still lose weight, rather than trying to drop the calories as low as possible to make sure I lose weight as quickly as possible, which will then destroy my squat strength. And that's not what I want. I don't want to get weaker. I want to get stronger. I want to feel better, more physically capable. I can't do that if I'm weak and frail and have no muscle, which is what's going to happen if I dive down too quick. Goal, improve relationship with food. Voice notes, like record voice notes so that when I'm in stressful situations, I can give myself advice rather than listening to my inner voice, because my inner voice is always going to try and rationalize going to the dumpster, or like treating myself like a dumpster, right? Going to the fridge, going to the freezer, and just treating my body like a fast food dumpster where just all this garbage goes in, right? I don't want that. So I'm going to leave a voice note to myself that I listen to each and every time. And then journaling is a huge part. It's helped me severely overcome a lot of the negative self-talk that goes on in my own head. Test, adjust, and retest, right? So this is the idea of like pause, reflect, like the exercise we just finished. Reflect on your own choices, reflect on your behaviors, reflect on the situation that maybe you made you fall off. Be like, okay, this is what happened. This is why I binged. Maybe I'm going to make this small tweak, this change here, and then I'm going to retest it. Did this new plan work for me? Yes or no? If yes, awesome. Keep it. Hold on to it. If not, okay, again, clearly that didn't work. What can I adjust? Try again. And then also increase the friction. So there's now documented evidence now showing that any physical feeling you get from a negative emotion, like anxiety, you get that gripping in your chest, or stress, or if like you're about to cry because you're sad, it feels like there's something's caught in your throat. If you're falling in love, you get butterflies in your stomach, right? And so those physical feelings only last about 90 seconds, but it's those 90 seconds where the decisions you make are most critical, because those 90 seconds of, oh my God, I feel this overwhelming amount of stress. Oh my God, like, how do I get rid of this? Oh, ice cream. I'm going to go bury myself underneath ice cream because I don't like this feeling that I have. So when it comes to increasing friction, I need to increase the time, the distance, and the effort required to complete the thing that I know I don't want to complete. How can I make it harder? And this comes from leaving the foods out of the house, because now I have to get my keys, get my wallet, get dressed, get my shoes on, go warm the car up, drive to the right. Like, there's so much more effort involved in doing the thing that I know I don't want to do, that I know does not reflect the goal that I have. And so that's the habit part. And this is how we can start kind of setting goals for ourselves. Then this is going to be the part that tracks your consistency, because this is the part that most people struggle with, is consistency. So I've already filled it out here, but so on the left here, I have daily habits: steps, 7K, protein and calories, strength training, sleep, 7 hours, meal prep Sundays, right? And look, you can see day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into 4 different blocks, with a little bit going up to 31, because there's a little bit more than 28 days in a month, right? To February. So what we're going to do is look at this, is I'm going to check the box. At the end of each day, I'm going to come back to this tracker. Did I hit my steps? Yes, I did. Did I hit my protein and calories? Yes, I did. Did I hit my strength training? Yes, I did. Did I hit my sleep? Yes, I did. I'm just going to go through it, right? So for the entire course of the month, look at this. And now we can actually look at this, look at the month and be like, okay, I know that if my goal is to do something each and every day, if I'm going to strive for the 80-20 rule of consistency, I know that if you look down here, end of month review, steps 19 out of 31, protein 25 out of 31, strength training 14 out of 14, sleep 27 out of 31. I now have objective proof if I was actually consistent or not. Because when I look at it, what does 80-20 look like in the month? Well, that looks like 25 out of 30 to 31 days. If you look down at my steps, oh man, I only got 19 days where I hit my goal out of 31. I know I'm not being consistent enough with my steps to deserve the result I want. Protein and calories, however, I got 25 out of 31. I got it. I hit my 80% mark. Amazing. When it comes to the calories, I know that I'm going to be losing a little bit of weight, but because I didn't get my steps up, maybe instead of losing the 4 to 5 pounds I had planned, I might only lose 3 pounds. Still in the right direction. It's still towards the goal I have, but I'm now looking at myself. It's like, well, if I want to lose 15 pounds and I'm only losing 3 pounds a month, well, now that means I have to do this for 5 months rather than 3, and dieting for 5 months ain't good. So I gotta start cleaning up my consistency. So I need to ask myself, what got in the way of steps? Well, like I said, since moving to Courtney, I'm not walking as much. That's just a fact. I'm not walking nearly as much. I have to take my dogs for much longer walks if I want to actually make sure I do it, which then takes away from like business development, from helping you, my clients, from posting the Facebook group, from doing what I need to do in my business. So I'm rationalizing not doing it. I'm rationalizing not taking those steps. I'm rationalizing not getting my steps in because it takes away from something else. But at the end of the day, I need to take care of myself before I can take care of somebody else. So I still struggle with prioritizing that. Right. And that's my own fault. I have to take ownership of that and actually start making the changes I needed. But if you look at strength training, 14 out of 14, amazing. Sleep, 27 out of 31, crushed it with those, amazing. And if you look at the bottom, it says biggest wins. My sleep was on point. I crushed all my workouts. Biggest wins for the month, biggest challenges of the month, getting my steps up. Calories in the final week. Oh, if I look at my protein and calories, it's really good. But that last week is where I started getting really inconsistent. Oh, well, what happened? Okay, well, let's look at meal prep Sundays. I got that Sunday. I got that Sunday. Oh, but I missed that Sunday. Weird. And then, oh, look, right when I missed that Sunday, my calories for the week were off. Got it. So the goal isn't try harder. The goal is, what can I do to make sure I get my meal prep on Sunday? And if I can't do it on Sunday, can I do it on Saturday instead? Right? Because I missed this Sunday, I then missed these calories. So even though I still got my 25 out of 31, I still got 80%. Could it have been better? And the answer is yes, because I missed my meal prep Sunday, and I now know that that's what got in the way. And now I can start going, okay, what can I do in June to make sure every Sunday I hit my meal prep so I don't miss my calories and protein? I hope that makes sense. Now I want to talk about the workouts, because the workouts are 3 days a week, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2. If I'm looking at this, now I have to go down even deeper, right? What does 80-20 look like in a week of workouts? If I'm only working out 3 days a week, if I drop one day, I'm now only at 66% consistent with my workouts. It's not enough. I need to be 80 or better. That's something you have to look at for as well. If I'm not getting my 80-20 rule of consistency with my workouts, do I deserve the results that I want? The answer is no, I don't, because I haven't done the work to get it. I'm not doing the effort to get it. And this is a very objective way to step back and look at this, to look at what's happening, look at your week, look at your month, and understand, am I actually being consistent enough to get the results? Or do I just feel like I'm consistent? If you feel like you're consistent, you're just leaving way too much room for error. This is how we know without a shadow of a doubt that I am or am not. It's black and white, right? Like if I put proteins and calories, my protein and calorie goal, just to make sure, is, let's say, 3,000 calories per day, and then say 190 grams of protein per day, right? I know that if I go above 3,000, I don't get to shade in that check. If I go below 190, I don't get to fill in that check. And it's black and white. Now it's objective. There's no feelings involved in your journey. It's just like, am I doing the work? Yes or no? Black and white. There is no room for error anymore. Now it's like, okay, cool. Like, I either am or am not. If now, when it comes to the calories, I usually allow a 5% deviation. So if you're at 3,000 like if my goal is 3,000 calories, if I get like 2,850, I'll still count that as a win. That's the little bit of wiggle room that I give myself. But other than that, if I go above 3,000, I failed. Like, I did not hit that day. Now, again, you don't beat yourself up. You don't go, oh man, I'm a failure. Why couldn't I do this? Oh, this is so hard. I tried so hard. What went wrong? Well, that's the question. That's the thing. What went wrong? What happened that made you not able to get that 3,000 calories, to get that goal? Now, this is for myself. Obviously, I'm not saying you should eat 3,000 calories. But that's the idea, is we have to be objective, not emotional about this. If we start getting emotional, then we start making mistakes, like, unfortunately. But that's why there's a stress eating. That's why emotional eating is a thing. That's why binge eating exists. It's usually to hide or like push down some sort of emotion, right? Emotions get us in trouble. Emotions make us make bad decisions a lot of the time when it comes to our health and fitness. So no more, I feel like I'm doing everything right. It's a yes or no. It's black and white. There is no guesswork anymore, which is amazing. And again, back down here, do more of this in the next month, do less of this in the next month. And then also at the top here, I kind of forgot to talk about it. Weight, bicep, chest, waist, hips, thigh, but also progress photos. Every 30 days, we should be taking progress photos, comparing it to our first set of photos, right? So it's super simple. Done. Cool. I click done. I got my progress photo for May 1st. Come down here, June. Amazing. Now we have the next piece of it. My weight at the beginning of June is 215. Okay. That means I've made 5 pounds of progress. Amazing. And then same with waist, right? My waist started at 34. Well, my waist now is 34. It was 35, which means I lost 1 inch. My hips are now 42 instead of 44, which means I lost 2 inches there. And then starting June, I take my progress photos. It's done. And this is how you and I can communicate. I can see I can see this. When you come in and you fill it out, or when you come in here and don't fill it out, I can see that. So keep that in mind. but I'm going to see, did you take your progress photos? And then we send it and then send it to me. And then that way I can check it off as well. And we're good to go. And we work together to try and make sure we're getting that 80-20 rule of consistency. This is the habit tracker. This is going to be a game changer for you if you can make sure you integrate this into your routine. Let me know what you think. And I look forward to hearing your opinion. I look forward to filling this out with you. I look forward to seeing what you come up with, seeing what your goals are, seeing what you learn about yourself, how reflective you are about yourself. That actually excites me a lot. I love seeing like actual progress in mental growth, not just physical transformation, because if the physical changes without the mental changes, you're going to fail. You're going to drop off. You're going to gain the weight back. We need to make the progress up here in order for the progress of the physical progress to actually sustain, right? So, and that's where we're here. Sustainability over everything. How can we sustain this for the rest of our life? Now, this isn't something you have to do for the rest of your life. This is just something we have to do to make sure we're getting the progress, leaving no stone unturned, leaving nothing up to chance. I don't like it when things are left up to chance. Like I said, I don't like winging it. Winging it has never worked for me. It clearly doesn't work for clients that join the program, because otherwise they wouldn't be joining the program, because then they'd be just fine doing it on their own. But their intuition's off. And so we need to make sure we retrain the intuition. Are you actually being consistent? Yes or no? Not, I feel like I'm being consistent. I think I'm being consistent. Am I? Yes or no? That's what this is about. Thank you so much for watching. Get back to me and we'll have a chat. Take care. Bye-bye.